Welcome to the Year 7 End of Year exam revision video answers. I go over all the answers to all the questions on the sheet, going across the top and then across the bottom. If I go too fast, simply pause me, rewind me, or fast forward me until you get to the place that you need. I hope that you find these useful. Question number 1, we need to ask what two numbers go into 26 and 39. And if we know our 13s times table, we know that 13 times 2 is 26, and we know that 13 times 3 is 39. Write 23 over 7 as a mixed number. Well, we ask how many times does 7 go into 23? Well, it goes in 3 times, doesn't it? Because 7 times 3 is 21, with 2 left over, so it's 3 and 2/7. To convert 12 and 3/5 to an improper fraction, we go 12 times 5 is 60, add 3, and we get 63 out of 5. For number 4, you got a half and a quarter. Well, we know that a half is the same as 2 quarters. So really it's 2 quarters plus 1 quarter, which gives us 3 quarters. The other way we could have done it is to go 4 times 1 and 2 times 1 and do it over 8. And we'll do that method for number 5. So we go 8 times 3, which gives us 24. And we go 7 times 3, which gives us 21. So 8 times 3, 7 times 3. And finally we go 7 times 8, which gives us 56. And so 24 plus 21 equals 45 out of 56. And that's the final answer. Question number 8, 2/3 of 21. Really we're going 21 divided by 3 and times by 2. We know that 21 divided by 3 is 7. So 7 times 2 gives us 14. 3/8 of 72 is exactly the same. We're going to go 72 divided by 8, which gives us 9. So 9 times 3 equals 27. For number 10, we just go top times top and bottom times bottom. So we simply get 15 out of 14, which we can write as 1 and 1/14. Finally, with question number 11, 0.4 plus 3/5. Well, 0.4 is the same as 4 out of 10. And 3/5 is the same as 6 out of 10. So 4 plus 6 makes 10 out of 10. And we know that 10 out of 10 is a perfect score of 1. Question number 2, decimals, percentages, and fractions. Well, 0.2 is the same as saying 2/10. And 2/10 is really 1/5. And so 2/10 is the same as saying 20 out of 100, isn't it? It's because percent is 20 out of 100. So 30% is 30 out of 100, which is the same as 3 out of 10, or 0.3. 2/5. Well, we have to try and get this bottom number to be 100, and 5 times what is 100? Well, 5 times 20 makes the bottom number, the denominator, 100, and so we have to go 2 times 20, which gives us 40. So really, 2/5 is the same as 40 over 100, or 40%, and 0.4. 1% is really 0.01, because it's 1 out of 100, and we can write that also as a fraction. 1.3 is bigger than 1, so that's really 130%, and that is really 13 out of 10, or 130%. Now 3 out of 20, we want that bottom number to be 100, and we know that 20 times 5 equals 100, so I have to do 3 times 5, and that will give me 15, give me an answer of 15 out of 100, or 15%, and 0.15. Now 0.457, to get from the decimals to the percentages with times by 100, so 0.4 times 100 is 40%, 0.3 times 100 is 30%, so we want to times this by 100, and that'll give us 45.7, or 45.7 out of 100. We could equally say 457 out of 1000. 20% of 400, well, we know that 10% of 400 is 40, so if we double that, we get 80. Now we know that 1%, if we divide this by 100, is going to be 1.8, and we could times that by 5. For some of you that's tricky, so we could find 10%, which would be 18, and half of 18 is 9. 90% of 20, well, we know that 10% of 20 equals 2, so we want 9 times bigger than that, so 9 times 2 equals 18. Number 4, increase 200 by 30%. Well, if we find out what 30% of 200 is, 30% of 200, well 10% of 200 is 20, so 30% must be 60, and we want to increase it, so it's going to be 200 plus 60 to give us 260. Similarly with this one, we want to increase it by 50%, while we find out what is half of 18.5. Half of 18.5, well half of 18 is 9, half of 0.5 is 0.25, and we're increasing it, so we're going to add these two together. So we're going to get 27.75 pounds. Decrease 400% by 70%, that doesn't quite make sense, so let's get rid of that percent sign. Decrease 400 by 70%, that's something we can do. We know that 10% of 400 is 40, we want 70%, which is 7 times that, so we're really going 7 times 40 is 280, so we need to decrease it, so really we're going 400 take away 280, which gives us 120. Find the mean, median, mode and range for the following, so we need to add these all up. So 1 plus 9 is 10, 2 plus 8 is 10, 3 plus 7 is 10, 4 plus 6 is 10, and 5 plus 5 is 10. So you've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So if we add them all up, we get 50, and there are 10 numbers giving us a mean of 5. The median is the middle number, so we count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what's halfway between this? Well, 5 plus 5 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. It's a little bit silly to do that, but we'll find out that later on. That's how we do it. The mode, the most common number, is also 5, and the range is 9 take away 1 to give us an answer of 8. Question number 2, the mean, add them up. 1 plus 9 is 10, 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 1 makes 21 out of 5. Now for a lot of people that might look tricky, so we say how many 5s go into 21? Well, 5s into 2, they don't go. 5s into 21, it goes 4 times with 1 remainder, so we put a decimal point there. How many times does 5 go into 10? It goes in twice, so the answer is 4.2. The median, when the numbers in order, they're already in order, so the median is the middle number of 3. The most common number, the mode, is 1, and 9 take away 1 gives you a range of 8. The mean, again, add them all up. 96 out of 6, so how many times does 6 go into 96? Well, 6's into 9 goes once with 3 remainder. 6's into 36 goes 6 times, so that gives us a mean of 16. The median, when they're not all currently in order, are they? So 1, 1, 2, 5, 7, and 80. We ask what's the middle number. 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 in, and so the middle number is in between 2 and 5, and so if we add 2 and 5 together, 2 plus 5, and have to divide it by 2 because we're looking for the middle of that, so half of 7 is 3.5. The mode is the most common number, which happens to be 1, and the range is 80 take away 5, which is 75. Question number 4 says which average is the best representative of the data. So we've got 16 as the mean and 3.5 as the median, and we look at these numbers, the numbers are pretty much between 1 and say 7, and so you'd expect the middle number, the average, to be somewhere between 1 and 7, and so 3.5 happens to be the best average. 75 has been significant, 16 has been significantly changed because of this one big number. Because of 80 being in there, the mean has been significantly altered. If 80 wasn't there, it would be around 3, and that's what we'd expect it to be. So the median is the best average. Graph the following. 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. If we plot those points, we've got 0, 0, you've got 1, 3, you've got 2, 6, and you've got 3, 9. We just draw a line, sort of through those points, and there we go, that's the first one. The second one, x plus 1, well 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. So we go to 0, 1, we go to 1, 2, we go to 2, 3, we go to 3, 4, and we simply plot a line through all of those points like so. For our next line, we've got minus 2, 0 times minus 2 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. 2 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, plus 1 is minus 3. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6, plus 1 is minus 5. We plot those points 0, 1, 1 minus 1, 2 minus 3, and 3 minus 5. And we get a line. R. That'd be something for Jenny. Oh, I'm going to have to get rid of all these dots. There we go. Okay, our lucky last question. Y equals 4. Well, it doesn't matter what x is, it's just going to be 4. So it's 4, 4, 4, and 4. So where's y equals 4? Well, that's y equals 4 there. Doesn't matter what the x point is. So we can simply rule a line like that. Simplify the following: x plus x plus x plus x. Well, there's 4 x's, aren't there? So it's simply 4x. Over here we've got 4x and we've got plus 3y. So 4x plus 3y equals 7x. And then we also have plus 2y plus y. So 2 plus 1 makes 3y. Over here we have 12 x's and we have a takeaway x. So 12 take away 1 gives us 11x. And then we have take away 3 plus 5, so minus 3 plus 5 gives us a total of 2 y's. Okay, the next question is y times y. If it was y plus y, it would be 2y, but because it's y times y, it's y squared. We only have powers when we're dealing with multiplication. Question number 5, 4y times 3. Well, 4 times 3 equals 12, so it's simply 12y. Now 12 times 2 times 3, 12 times 6 is 72. A times a times a, well, that means there's 3 lots of a, so it's a cubed. Substitute a equals 5, b equals minus 2, and c equals 3 into this. This means 3 times 5, which equals 15. Over here we've got b plus b. Well, minus 2 plus minus 2 is minus 4 times 3 gives us an answer of minus 12. C squared is 9, because 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 times 3 minus 5. So 9 plus 15 gives you 24, take away 5 gives you 19. B is minus 2, plus a, 5 times 3. We do BIDMAS, so we do the 5 times 3 first, so 15 minus 2 plus 15 gives us 13. When it comes to angles, we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180, so 180 divided by 3 gives us 60 degrees for each of these angles. We know that angles at a point add up to 360, so we go 360, take away 137, take away 90, and we get an answer of 43. Over here we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180, so we go 180 minus 117, and that gives us an answer of 63. We know that these two angles are vertically opposite, so that's also 63. This here is a right angle, and we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180, because 180 minus 90 is 0, so that's fine. Over here we know that angles on a straight line also add up to 180, so that must be 47. Over here 180 minus 106 must be 74, and vertically opposite must also be 74. We're going to look at these rules in a second. Okay, angles on a straight line up to 180, so this one here must be 41. Angles at a point must add up to 360, so that must be 121. Over here this must be 38, because angles on a straight line, and this is another straight line and vertically opposite, so that's 142. And angles at a point add up to 360, so that must be 64. Now our final angles question. This here is an F as a corresponding angle, so that means that this one here must be 71. Because it's a base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal, that one must also be 71, and this one must also be 71, because that again makes an F angle. And so we're left with with a triangle, and so we go 142, 180 minus 142 gives us an answer of 38 degrees. The next question asks us to write down the angle rules. Now if you don't know these angle rules, just pause the video and copy them each down. So the first one is angles on a straight line out to 180, so a plus b equals 180. we look at the next one, it's angles at a point, add up to 360, not a circle because there's no angles in a circle, so from that point they all add up, so A plus B plus C plus D equals 360. The next one is vertically opposite angles are equal, so B and D are the same and A and C are the same. The next one is angles in a triangle. Any triangle, doesn't have to be a right angle, scalene, isosceles, any triangle adds up to be 180 degrees. Next one's angles in a quadrilateral add up to be 360. Any four-sided shape is 360 degrees. The next one, if we look at this makes an F angle is a corresponding angle. Okay, so that means that H and D are the same, but we can draw our F a different way. We can draw it that way, so that means that A and E are the same. We can then draw it back this way, and so that again makes an F, so C and G are the same. And finally we can draw it that way and make B and F the same. All of those are corresponding angles on parallel lines are equal. Alternate angles, these are our Z's or our N's for fun, so that means D and F because they're on opposite sides of the line, and if we draw it the other way we'll get our C and our E. Okay, alternate angles on parallel lines are equal. We know that the big outside square is a 1, so that means this yellow square is a quarter, and this is half of a quarter, so half of a quarter is an eighth, and so this one here is also an eighth. Now if we were to put a red line down the middle here, then there would be an eighth, and that's C is half of an eighth, which makes this one a 16th. And now D isn't half of that, it is actually a whole one. So that means that that one there must be an eighth as well, although it looks a little bit different. If we come down to the H would look like it, if H was a full, would be that size, that would be an eighth, and it's not an eighth. So if we were to put another line there, then we turn into sixteenths, and it happens to be 3/16, which makes this one 1/16. And a similar idea here, this is 3/16 and 1/16, just being split up in different ways.